Hello YouTube, this is Richochet, and I'm here going to report on progress of this project I've been working on for the past few months. I'd say more like 3, because I started this in late November with a friend. And this progress report is going to be my progress in the month of February of what I've done with this project so far. Now, before I start, I'm going to assume that the viewer of this video does not know what this game is about, so I'll just go through a short little demonstration of what the game is, how the game flows. So I'm going to pick the stage here, Zone Control, and the concept behind the game is simply that this is what I like to call turn-based tanks. You move around, take turns, firing at each other, until you're the last tank standing. Now, as you can already see by that first shot, the gimmick of the game and where the game gets its namesake from is the fact that the shots bounce off the yellow walls. But if you try to bounce shots bounce off yellow walls, but if they hit a gray wall, then they don't bounce. They get absorbed, or they get destroyed, whatever. So with that in mind, it creates a level of strategy. It's kind of like playing billiards of death, you might say, in trying to bounce your shot in an ideal way. Earlier builds of the game that people might be familiar with had it so that your shots actually did less damage the more they bounced. In this version of the game, they do more damage the more they bounce. The reasoning behind this is that it creates more of a, I guess, high risk, high reward thing, because it's very possible for your shot to bounce back and hit you, like so. And so, because of that, you have to be very careful not to have a shot go around and kill yourself with it, or to kill yourself with. And because of that shot that hits the red player, that match turned around and hit blue, or turned around and gave blue the win. Now, because of that the nature of the shots being so erratic and dangerous, it's a very high risk, high reward sort of game, I suppose, but it has its fair bit of strategy. It's fairly easy to pick up and play as well, too, which is what a lot of players, or a lot of testers I had test the game, agree on. It's simple to play, simple to grasp, but it's quite fun according to all the tests that I've had, which kind of surprised me, but it's a fun game, I'll admit that. Now, to go over the other stuff in the menu, obviously we just demonstrated local game. We have our little stage select menu here. It's a ring with cubes displaying a little preview of the stage itself, along with another preview in 3D rotating in the middle of the cube. It actually took me a little while to get this working correctly, but I'm satisfied with the way it turned out. You can manipulate the stage selection by tapping left and right or on the keyboard, or more recently added to the game, you can, I don't want to say recently, but you can actually move it, select the stage you want to play with using the left mouse button. Well, left clicking the highlighted cube, I suppose you say. Bleh, I'm just tongue twisting myself. That's selecting the stage in the local game anyway. You can highlight the cube with the left mouse button, so you notice how it's highlighted as red. You can left click, and there you go. You can left click the stage in the stage cube in the center again to go select it. Now, the next thing to look at here was the main focus of February. I wanted to spend most of February to focus on online play. However, I wasn't able to do that because I spent most of February instead fixing several bugs and issues that popped up in the tests of last month. In the last month, I had a testable version that I released out to a few people that I thought were worthy testers, I suppose, able to give good feedback. And the feedback I got was fairly positive, but there were issues that did pop up, bugs and other criticisms and critiques. You might notice that. So I'll go over some of those later. But the point is that I spent a lot of time working on the bugs and optimizing the problems so that they'd be less of a problem, so that I didn't have enough time to really focus on online play, unfortunately. I think this game has a lot of potential for online play, which is why I want it to be available online. As for options, well, stuff like this really makes me consider redoing this entire menu, because honestly, this stuff seems so pointless now. But this stuff isn't in. We have a slight credits here. I'll just go over the little credit reel. It's nothing really too special, I suppose. But oh, I should fix that sometime, huh? Well, if I'm gonna redo the whole menu thing, then honestly, that credits thing will have to be changed too. And you have an exit game dialog here too. Since I'm running this in the Unity editor, hi, I'm doing this in Unity, by the way. Since I'm running this in the editor itself, if I exit the game, the exit game dialog does work. However, since I'm running this in the editor, like I just said 2 times already, it won't work. That's the menu in a nutshell. This menu that I'm really thinking about replacing soon. Now I'll go over some of the changes that I did since that last version I mentioned. So going through them one by one, I believe. Well, let's go cut through it. If you're regarding changes from the last version that I had back in the end of January, the first obvious one you might notice already is music. Yes, we already I requested another friend to do music for me. Hi, Harvey. And he has provided several music tracks for us to use, or for us to use. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied again. Bleh. You might also notice that I have displayed down in the lower left here what music is playing at the moment as well. Now, the other obvious thing that would also be noted in this version is a move display here. You notice that now you have a display to show how far you can move. It's flashy too. So you can move around, blah blah blah. Another thing that's also obvious for this version that's not as that wasn't implemented in the last version is rather than quote teleporting to your next position, you actually move there. But another thing that's also noteworthy is with the move spaces, you can actually click on them to move them, and mouse controls for the tank completely work. So you can move around purely by clicking on the move space, the appropriate move space. It has to flash first, and then aiming your shot with the mouse. So that's mouse controls are done. Your tank moves rather than teleporting place to place. Music is implemented, and another thing that's subtle but was implemented on to make the game look more professional, I suppose, is text outlines. It's probably going to be hard to see in the video itself, but there are text outlines around this text here, the player life bars, the turn timer life bars, and even outlines around the damage display, the number that displays how much damage you've taken. The players here have 200 life, so taking 83 life, taking 83 damage is quite a lot. It's not displayed obviously, but that 200 value is really just tentative for now. I'm not sure how much how much life will be there for the final version. You know, before I get satisfied with how much damage the players do take. It's more of a little tentative thing. Now, if you notice here in zone control, the gimmick around this stage is that we have what I call gate blocks, in that they open and close in turn intervals. Now, all the gates here are open at the start of the match, but in 6 turns, 2 turns have already passed, they will close. So let's go fire a few shots to pass the turns by a bit to show what I mean with this next issue that was fixed. Now you notice that the gates, the walls have closed. These walls will take turns opening and closing. The wall that this red player is on top of, it's supposed to be closed. In the old version, this wall will close on top of the player. However, if I do this, you notice when I move off, the wall closed. You can cancel your move too by either pressing the right mouse button, the right mouse button, or by pressing left control. You notice that when you cancel movement, the wall closes right back. Here's another issue that was addressed in the previous test. Firing at this angle right here, I believe it was an angle of 307 and 308. In the old version, the way the shots were done, this would actually make the shot go through the wall. However, in this version, as you can see, 307 or 308, the shot will clearly go hit the corners and bounce right back and hit the player. So that shot has been fixed. However, it's worth noting that the way the shots have been working has created new problems. Because in the earlier versions, this wouldn't have happened. You notice that the tracer shot, the shot that displayed, the shot preview, I guess you could call it, it's going a little haywire there in the corner. Like that. That shouldn't have happened. That's a new issue that's popped up. However, another thing that has been fixed is firing a point-blank shot against the wall. If I'm firing it directly downward at a shot angle of 180, the old version would actually had a shot go through the wall. It does not. In fact, I'll fire again just to demonstrate this. It actually did not just go through the wall, it bounced back and hit me. It's kind of hard to tell with doing it on this version, but another issue that I had was trying to optimize the speed for systems to make it more regulated, I guess you could say, for most operating systems. This was something I tried to find a way to do properly without completely destroying the code established so far, which I think was done mostly well, but I did spend quite a bit of time trying to optimize the code in a way to not utilize this, but to get this set up and fixed. I think I did a decent job at it, but however, there are a few maps in this game that do have issues with frame rate, and I believe it has to do with the way the walls are set up. The first map that comes to mind is Warzone, where it's more noticeable with the way the shots move around, how they much slower. The second map in mind that I have here is Confrontation, where the shots again move much slower. I know why the shots, or rather the game speed is doing this. It's all in the walls, the special walls in their code. It has to be optimized in a way. I'm trying to think of a way to optimize it while keeping their functionality intact, which is the problem here. Aside from that, I believe that's most of the changes done for Ricochet for this February version. Richochet signing off, and I would hope to see that this game has some success at least. If there's something missing, I'll probably add it in annotations actually. I'm thinking that I missed something in this report, but we'll see.